So today we're going to review a bottle that I have passed by many times and never purchased it until now. We're going to review Copper and Cask Private Batch Straight Bourbon Whiskey Barrel Proof 116.2 proof. So this is another one of these private batches that I got in Wegmans. I have many of these store picks, private selections. This is Copper and Cask Private Batch. I've just passed this by and I've just really not paid attention. But what this is, it's a very interesting bottle for a lot of reasons. First of all, it is a private batch. It is a Wegmans private batch, and there is a WG01 right here. That is their private batch, WG for Wegmans -01. It is Wegmans, almost like a partnership between Wegmans and this, even more than a store pick, because it goes so far as not just to be a store pick, but there is a QR code on the back here, right there, and you can look up everything about this particular batch. So I was able to read about it as I normally do, but you can get everything you need to know just by scanning that QR code. Very interesting. So again, this is a Wegmans private batch, 116.2 proof, non-chill filtered. And it says on here as well, it was bottled in March 2025. It is a batch size of 4 barrels, so that's a pretty small batch. It is bottled by Latitude Beverage Company and is distilled in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. It says it right on here. That is clearly MGP, and is matured in Kentucky. I think I saw some older ones, different batches, and maybe not private batches that were matured in it's either Georgia or Florida or something like that. But this says distilled in Indiana, matured in Kentucky. So the way this works is you have 4 barrels in this batch. And so there's 2 different mash bills. The main mash bill, 3 of the 4 barrels have the main mash bill, which is that typical MGP mash bill of 75% corn, 21% rye, 4% malted barley. And then 1 of the 4 barrels has a mash bill of 60% corn, 36% rye, 4% malted barley. So that basically you have your MGP. They call the first one a low rye mash bill. 21% rye, I don't consider it to be really low rye. Between you and me, I think that's sort of a high rye, relatively speaking. But they're low rye, and there's those 3 barrels with the 21 rye, and then their 1 barrel with the high rye is 36% rye. I believe I've seen that before from MGP as well. So all that's on the QR code, and then they give you just all the different, tasting notes. Basically, I think it's the master distiller or the master blender who gives you all that. It's right there. It gives you the information, gives you a video. Extremely cool. So this is aged 8 years old. Again, they say it was bottled in 2025, so you can tell basically when it was put into the barrel. So this is completely like something I have not tried. I know they have other stuff, but Wegmans has these all the time. They were showcasing this, and here's the kicker. The price on its own was $49, which I think for something like this, of this age and proof, is fair. But they were running a sale. You don't see too many sales in liquor stores. A $5 sale if you use your Wegmans customer care card, whatever it is. So scan the Wegmans card, and then it becomes $44 plus tax. I think this is very fair for this, but we'll see just how fair it is once we taste it. Let's crack it open and see. You can just see the front of the bottle right here, all that's written there, and you can see the information on the back. Now for the all-important cork pop. Not bad. Okay, we got to pour it up. That was a fair cork pop. I am noticing what looks like, just visually, a rather thick, viscous liquid here. Just feels that way, and it kind of is the way it's moving. But we'll see in a sec. Let's give this a nose. Well, that's very pleasant. It's very different, actually. They call this on their QR code. They call it like a coffee kind of a nose. Not sure I'm getting quite that. Same time, I'm not necessarily. I'm expecting to get a bit of rye on this, especially with that second barrel. But I'm not getting that much off. Let's give it a taste. Cheers. It's very good. And it is everything I said about the mouthfeel is true. The legs are on the glass. Very, very nice hog coming down. I can get that rye spice in there, but me and high rye, depends on what it is. This is going really good. Typical vanilla caramel oak. They describe this as a cherry cola. Never really use that as a tasting note. I think I can see why they say that. It's just not a tasting note I probably would say. It wouldn't come to mind for me. I guess I'm getting some fruit as well, spice, oak, vanilla caramel. I'm getting like a butterscotch. I'm trying to detect that. I don't know if it's like a butterscotch or pancake kind of syrup or something like that, but it's very good. I don't like looking at their notes too well because I want to draw my own conclusions. I did glance at it, and some of the stuff I see, some I don't. So I'm just kind of going with what I think. So this is a very nice tasting, well-rounded whiskey here, and at its proof and age, 8 years old, non-chill filter, 116.2 proof, private batch. On sale, we get it for $44. Even at honestly, at the $49 price, I think that was fair for this, and given everything about it. But to get this for $44 plus tax, I think was a very good price with the sale. So this is not to be overlooked. They do a lot of other stuff too. A lot of their stuff is single barrels. This is a private batch. I didn't know if they do this with other stores. I know this is something that Wegmans, so they had this in one place where they have all the store picks, and then they were even showcasing it on a barrel in a different place, and it has the piece of paper that said, with your Wegmans card, get $5 off. So they obviously, are a significant partner with Copper and Cast, which is great. But I like the mash bill fact that you have these two different mash bills. 3 of the 4 would be something, I'm a little closer to the, where I kind of lean towards the lower rye. But I will tell you this, that MGP, people think MGP, this is another of these MGP products. MGP is just some really good stuff. It depends also then what the distillery does with it. A lot of people put their own, fingerprint on it and stuff, but this is really some very, very good bourbon right here. So if you have a Wegmans by you, they should have. I think generally all the Wegmans will have this. That's my thought process. They should have it evenly divided among their stores. Go check it out. And if you have one of those Wegmans cards, use it. Get the $5 off. I'm assuming they do that in all their stores. I don't see why they would only do it in Alpen Wegmans. So far, this is a good one and at a good price, and a lot going on in it. And last but not least, again, I wish more whiskeys did this. I mean, that is just really, really cool. You can go in that thing and read everything about this specific batch and see a video from the master distiller or master blender. So very cool. It was a good one. Cheers.